Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 7th grade concept of equations and inequalities. This is standard 7.11a in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 7, which is a new item type called equation, off the Redesign Practice online STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we simply need to find the solution to this equation. We can type in whole numbers, we can type in decimals, but we also need to remember that we cannot leave it blank. If we try to hit this next button and there's nothing there, then you're going to see that it will be an error message that says you have not answered this. So let's go ahead and open up our transparency, our graph paper. Let's increase our transparency so we can see what's going on here. And we're simply just trying to isolate this variable. So let me write this over here a little bit bigger. 0.5x minus 1.25 equals 3.5. All right, so we need to think of our order of operations. We need to think of it in reverse order when we're trying to isolate this variable. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Remember, your parentheses are first, exponents, multiplication, division, and then addition and subtraction. So we want to get this x right here all by itself. And on this side of the equation, I see two different operations. So it's an implied multiplication right here. And you get a letter right next to a number. Sometimes they use parentheses, but sometimes they won't. That's multiplication. And then you've got your subtraction right here. So those are two different operations that are on this side. And you start peeling those off one at a time from the weakest first. So here's our weakest. You start from the bottom and you move your way up. So I need to peel off that subtraction. How do I peel off that subtraction? Well, I use the inverse operation. So the inverse of subtraction is addition. So to get rid of my minus 125, I add 125 to both sides. Now think of this equation as a balance. You need to add that 125 to both sides to keep it balanced. So those two are going to cancel themselves out, and that's going to leave me 0.5x alone over here. Now I need to go ahead and add, let's see, that's going to be 4.75. I added my 3.5 and my 1.25. So I've got rid of that, but now I've got that multiplication there. So the opposite of multiplication, inverse operation, is division. And so I need to divide both sides by a half, which is what 0.5 is. Okay, so if I divide that, that's going to cancel itself out. It's going to become 1, so that's good. So x equals whatever 4.75 divided by 0.5 is. I've got two different ways I can do this. First, you could go ahead and just divide, right? But now I've got a decimal in my divisor. You don't want to do that, so you got to move it over once. So now it's going to be 5 into 47.5, so that's going to be 9, 45, 25, 9.5. Another way you could have done it would say, you know what, if you multiply top and bottom by 2, you're going to get over 1, right? Because half times 2 is 1, and you're just going to get that same thing, 9.5. Now that looks like my answer, but before we do that, let's just go ahead and plug this back in. So let's rewrite this. So let's say 0.5 times 9.5 minus 1.25. Does that really equal 3.5? All right, well, there's 0.5, 9.5. It should be that 4.75. Let's double check. 47.5, 4.75, 2 digits right there, 2 digits right there. So 4.75 minus 1.25, 0, 5, yep, 3.5 right there, which is what this is right here. All right, so my answer is going to be that 9.5. So how's that going to look? Well, when we start putting that in here, you notice that the keyboard pops up, which is fine. Let's get that 9.5, and that is your answer.